So what is up, you guys? Matt here, and today we are back with another episode on the splash pad series. If you watched the first Manifold video, you can probably tell that we're wearing the same clothes. It's because we're just shooting this the same day. But this is the Manifold, and there's only 3 parts here for right now. So this is the original idea that my dad had, and this is gonna be for the fire hydrant, the mushroom, and the dumping bucket.
Yep, all the 3 main fixtures.
Yes. But what we have planned is we're gonna add 2 more on, which we have them right here. So we're gonna add 2 more sections on to make it even wider. Since it's gonna be permanent, and you don't really want to mess with this stuff after it's already been done.
You're not pulling out your concrete to add more footing bases. So we decided to add 2 more footing bases for any future fixtures we may either purchase or build on our own. The footing bases, actually, we're gonna build those in a future video too. So,
yeah, which will be pretty sweet.
Yeah, so we'll break that down as well.
Yeah, so this one's just gonna be for fixtures. The other one that we did is just for all the nozzle heads that are all around there, which you'll most likely, I'm pretty sure you saw in the planning video, we talked about it.
Yep.
So now what do we gotta do? We gotta try to measure out the PVC that goes in between.
We're just gonna cut some PVC. Originally I was gonna leave gaps. I was gonna cut 4-inch PVC in between these ones, but now I think just because we're adding so many, we're just gonna cut it so everything fits tight, just to keep the size of the manifold down. These will obviously create a little gap, and then figure out the measurements for those, just to, like I explained in the last video, it creates equalized pressure all the way around, so one device isn't hogging all the water pressure.
Right. And so for this, are we using Schedule 80, or is it just a regular Schedule 40?
This is all Schedule 80.
So even like the side or the pieces in between are going to be Schedule 80 too?
All Schedule 80 on these. And I think I mentioned that in the other video. You can get away with Schedule 40 on these. I'm sure they'll hold up fine, but we're doing Schedule 80 just because that's how Rain Deck makes theirs, and you're gonna get high pressure in here, so
better safe than sorry.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. But if you can't get Schedule 80 in your area, Schedule 40 will work.
All right, so I guess we'll kind of cut here and we'll just start getting all the pieces together, and we'll jump back when we start the gluing process all over again.
Okay.
So we'll see you guys in a second. He finally just cut all the initial pieces that we're gonna use. We just basically air these right out with the air hose, and we're gonna cut these pieces for this final one after everything's all snug together.
Yeah, just like the last manifold, we're gonna glue all the bottom section together first, get our measurement, and then figure out where these need to go, and then we'll just cut those and get them glued up.
And then we're gonna be using the PVC pipe cement and then the PVC primer again.
Yeah, and we're using the clear. That way it just makes everything look a little bit better instead of having the purple primer and blue glue and stuff. So, and then we're gonna pressurize these when we get everything together anyways, make sure everything's gonna hold.
Well, I guess actually one thing we should probably do is we should probably show them how to like glue. Like we should do like just a test, or like
we can do that. I mean, I say if you don't know how to glue PVC, this project probably isn't for you anyways. Well, but yeah, we can get into that. I mean, so basically the first thing you want to do is get out your primer. What your primer does is it starts the softening of the PVC, so when you glue these together, they weld together and create a permanent bond. So you want to get it real thoroughly on the piece you're doing and also inside your fitting. And we'll do 2 of them since we glued that whole PVC. And then take your glue. On these ones, a lot of glue's on these, so I'm going to wipe them off. And then you'll get a liberal amount of glue in there. Make sure it's well coated. And then when you do this also, sometimes on the bottom, if you're not careful, you'll miss a spot. So rotate it around to make sure you're getting everything. I didn't get that one all the way. All right. And then when you piece these together, you want to give them a twist. Slight press and twist. Let me get this one together too. Press, twist everything in alignment. And with this, we want to make sure we're aligned up perfectly. And then hold it for about 5-10 seconds to let everything set up. And then do that with the rest of the pieces.
So we're finally just finishing up the gluing process, and one thing that you guys should honestly check about, I mean, as we talked about quickly in the last video, is just keep an eye on your nozzles, especially if you're gluing it yourself. Just constantly move them, just so the glue doesn't harden on them, because like in the last video, the other manifold, it can come to a point where you accidentally glue it shut, and the only way to get it off is to break it. But
we did that, now we gotta buy a new one.
Yep. But another thing that I did notice about this one is this one doesn't have the hammer rester like the other one. So why is that?
That one, we put that on there because with the solenoids, they open and close automatically. And that would sometimes create turbulence in the water. So these ones aren't gonna be that way. It's you're manually turning them on and off or adjusting the pressure and stuff. So that won't be a factor with this one. So we don't need it.
Yeah, so you basically just keep these ones open like the whole time or close them, right? So you don't need to like have them shut.
You can turn them off completely, but what you'll want to do is some things may get a little more water flow than others. So this one may be cocked that way, that one may be closed a little more, that one may have to be open all the way. It's just more of a preference once you get everything connected.
Just to basically kind of even out the water pressure between them, so
right.
You're not hogging the whole.
Well, exactly. One thing like the mushroom may be pulling a lot more water flow than the fire hydrant, and you turn the mushroom back, it creates more flow to the other fixtures. So that's something that has to be adjusted once we get everything going and turned on and see how it works.
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
That should be all right. Make sure I didn't glue that one up.
Yeah, definitely keep them moving. So is there any other add-ons that we're adding onto this?
No, this one's done in the pool room or the pump room. Once we get these mounted to the walls, we'll be running our piping down outside of there underground to the splash pad. So looking at them, the first noticeable thing is the pipe diameter size between the two. This one's definitely bigger. It's 2-inch piping, so it's for better water flow, but we have 1.5 inches pulling out of each one of these shutoffs going to all our fixtures. So you're gonna need higher flow through this one. This one is 1.5 inch piping primarily, and it drops down to 3/4 inch. And then we're going 3/4 inch out to our spray nozzles. And like I mentioned in the last video, we're gonna do 2 nozzles per solenoid valve. So we're not robbing a lot of water pressure. You can have 3, they recommend 3, you can do up to 4. If you do 4 fixtures, I would size it up to 1 inch piping versus the 3/4, just for a little bit better flow, which means you'd have to up your solenoid size too, which Irritrol does make a larger size as well.
And all these are gonna get just wired to the control board, right?
Yeah, those get wired right into the control panel we got, and then that has 4 programs on it, like we discussed in the previous, which will just have random patterns, and then it also has an all-on feature, so everything's on.
Right. Obviously, this one took a lot longer to do. This one was a lot easier. You can just kind of basically tell. There's a lot more parts that needed to be glued on the cylinder or the nozzle manifold versus just the fixture manifold. So,
speaking of glue, remember this is the one that we glued shut, so
yep,
we'll have to get a new one of those.
But that's really the only thing that I'm pretty sure we messed up on this one for the most part that I can remember.
I mean, once we get them in the pump room and on the wall and everything all tied into it, we'll do pressure tests. I mean, I don't see anything leaking. Our glue joints are really good. The only place that I can see it possibly leaking is in the threaded joints with the Teflon tape. But because we have unions on it, it'll be easy enough to tighten up if we need to.
Right. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap the video up here, and hope you guys do enjoy this little season of how to build a splash pad. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the description or in the comment section, and either me or my dad will get to it. And yeah, so hope you guys do enjoy this. Stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.